Why, hello to everyone from the past, present, and future. My name is Hubert Dankworth, or you can call me Hubie, and I'll be your host for this episode's podcast of Comedy from Tomorrow's Headlines. To tell you a bit about this podcast, we've actually been pumping out episodes for about 5 years now, but nobody wants to talk about that since we're only really famous ever since Donald Trump said, "They are the worst people to have a platform since Joe Biden. I think nothing positive of it. It's quite frankly fake news, as time travel doesn't exist." Okay? But you know what? I disagree. Here at this podcast, we're going to be going into a deep dive of time travel. And yes, it's real. We have now traveled to the streets to ask complete strangers questions about, you guessed it, time travel. Let's ask some questions. Excuse me, my friend, what is your time travel hot take?
I don't think it's real. I don't think it's ever gonna be real. I don't think it's possible in the slightest.
Can I ask you, Sug?
Yeah, go ahead.
How does it feel to be wrong?
Feels pretty great to be right.
Oh, nah. This guy got me messed up right now. If you could talk to any historical figure from the past, who would it be?
Probably my boy, Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton, why?
I just want to thank him for gravity, you know, man? Like, I like my feet on the ground, and that's how the way it should be.
Feet on the ground, you know how it be. Excuse me?
Yes.
Do you think that if Albert Einstein could travel to the future, that he could beat Bill Nye, the science guy, in a 1v1 science battle?
I don't think so. I think Einstein's a little dated. I think Bill's a little younger.
Wrong. I'm going to pass the mic to my associate for a question or two.
If you can change one event in history, what would it be and why?
Personally, I don't think 9/11 should have happened. It was an unfortunate event. And it's a lot harder to get on airplanes now, which is really shit. I really wish I could just hop on the airplane like we used to be able to without any security measures or bag checks. I just want to be able to take my batteries in peace.
All right, thank you. Do you believe in time travel?
You know, time travel is such an interesting subject because there's so much history around it. There's just like so much content around it. It's just like, it's insane, but also it's like totally true, you know?
Real.
And back with your host here. Excuse me, my friend. What are your thoughts on time travel?
I want to go back to my mother's womb.
I hear you. Don't we all now? And why do you choose your mother's womb?
It's dark.
There you have it, folks. If you could change one thing from the past, what would it be?
Anything from BFTV, 100%. Anything in BFTV.
And what year are you?
Yeah, year 4.
What is the worst thing about BFTV?
Portfolio.
Ouch. We do not want to do that. Tell me about that.
Well, Portfolio is very unorganized and it's just very chaotic. And I think that a lot of things, like a lot of like the organization should be, you know, better organized.
You heard it here from a 4th year. I tell you, it's not all perfect. So I have a question for you. What is your favorite time travel movie?
Back to the Future, definitely a classic. Groundhog Day is also a good one, but I think Back to the Future, it's the best one.
Okay, that's valid. I'm starting to like this guy. We are moving on to our next question, and this is, if you could bring any slang from right now to the 1800s, what would it be?
Probably geeked.
And what is your definition of geeked?
Just like wild, bro. Just wild time, just going feral, you know?
Would one use it in a sentence as, I'm bare geeked up right now?
Indubitably.
I hear you. Now, give me an example of this phrase being used in the 1800s.
My liege, the decapitation has been put off until tomorrow. We're getting extremely geeked tonight.
Let's get geeked here at Comedy from Tomorrow's Headlines. Now travel through time with us as we take a commercial break.
Are you ready to transform your mind to new time zones?
Wow, they have it!
Are you ready to not know what day of the week it is? Introducing Galaxy Gas.
Motherfucking Galaxy Gas!
What is your opinion on Galaxy Gas?
Galaxy Gas, you know, it's great, it's amazing. Take it every day, every morning to start my day. It's amazing.
A pharmaceutical, revolutionary drug, guaranteed to get you geeked.
You're totally geeked.
100% geeked every second of the day. Everybody should try it.
Whether you're looking to enhance your creativity, open your mood, or simply explore a new way of thinking, Galaxy Gas is here to take you on an extraordinary trip. Galaxy Gas, here to take you to space so you can't feel your face.
Purchase Galaxy Gas now.
Wondering where we receive our information here at Comedy from Tomorrow's Headlines? Well, I'll have you know that is, in fact, a very, very credible source, which is a little underground and we have been gatekeeping, but we're ready to share. You may be wondering, how many T's does it have? 4. How much false information does it have? A lot. The Time Traveler Tales is the only reliable news source for your time travel information. You got 2 choices, our podcast or their monthly magazine. Anything else is wrong.
It is an honor to have you here, Dr. Humphrey Williams. At our podcast, you're the only news source we trust.
Thanks for inviting me, and glad to know that I am, and I'm happy to be here.
Me and the whole studio have been binge reading this month's magazine. Quick question, how did you decide on the theme of the month as Vehicles of the Future?
Well, I was there a couple of months ago, and I just thought that it would be interesting for the readers since I enjoyed my time there. I feel like every time I go to the future, there's just always more and more.
What specifically did you find interesting this time around?
Well, first off, cars fly now, and I know that we all thought that when cars started flying, traffic would be obsolete. But it's the opposite. There's so much traffic. Honestly, it's much worse than when we drove on the ground.
How so?
Well, at first it was a complete mess because of the logistics of driving a car is somewhat more different than driving a quote-unquote normal car. Because there are just so many more buttons. But no one had to renew their driver's license for the flying cars, so just imagine the chaos.
Haha, yeah, I can imagine, especially with the current drivers on the road now. Also, a couple of months back, you wrote about the music of the future in a magazine. I found it extremely interesting since I think even now, we all prefer the older music better. Is that also the case in the future?
I don't think so, no. The music in the future is very, I guess you could call it experimental. I feel like it's more of what we now call techno music. But there is the occasional acoustic song, but it usually doesn't do very well. If you haven't listened to it, you'll understand why.
Ha ha ha! Now, I'm intrigued.
Sorry, I didn't bring any songs back. Kinda against the rules.
There are rules.
Yeah, of course.
What are some of the rules?
You know, the usual, can't bring stuff back, can't talk to yourself, stuff like that.
Okay, well, can you tell me how the world ends?
Absolutely not.
What? Why?
Because I'd be in grave danger.
Come on, Doctor. Our viewers need to know.
Well, that's too bad.
Doctor, are you really gonna sabotage me on my podcast?
Sabotage you? I think that I politely declined your request, so I'd like you to please respect my wishes.
They need to know. I need to know. Use your brain, Humphrey. This is important to our society. The world, goddammit!
It's Dr. Williams, and I'm done here. Don't ask me to return. This is ridiculous. This is a fucking joke of a podcast.
Fine. You just made a mockery of yourself. Get off my podcast and go kick rocks. Well, guys, that's the end of this week's podcast. I guess it is true when they say, don't meet your heroes. But I did try. I tried to give you viewers what you wanted. Unfortunately, some people just want to watch the world burn, it seems. I'm heartbroken. I'm crushed. Why did they do this? That's besides the point. This was Comedy from Tomorrow's Headlines, hosted by yours truly, Hubert Dankworth. It's been a pleasure, and we hope you bring your listening ears next week. Goodbye.